How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I am back. I'm not 100%. I still have, my voice is still a little rusty, but I can talk. I won't be able to sing no time soon, so y'all, rest your ears and all that. But y'all been seeing me around, and we had some major fires up here in Southern and Northern California, and I live in Northern. I'm up here in the Bay Area, and it got so bad, the fires, that when I looked outside my house, there's a valley in front. You think you're looking at clouds, but you're literally looking at literally smoke and pollution. And yesterday was the first day that I didn't smell like chemicals and plastics and all of that. It got bad. And it don't matter if you in the house, because in my house, all through in every room in the house, there's vents built into the floors. And there's a dial on there where you can open and close the vents, but they so old, they stuck on the on position, and you could put WD and all that on there, ain't budging. So it irritated my voice, and I use my voice a lot to speak, and I damn near almost try to sing every day to keep my vocals tight. So I had to submit and just allow myself to heal. And I thank Lisa Cabrera. She sent me 200 bags of ginger tea, and I thank everyone for the remedies that y'all told me to take. And I love that when we share those things, because we have a wealth of information, my royal family. So, like I said, even though I ain't been using my voice, I've been right here. And then one of them videos, my royal family, go get your shit. Oh yeah. Get your, your weed, your drink. Me, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I got my grape juice, a little bit of twist of lemon, a little bit of twist of lime, plenty ice. Now, as I'm talking to y'all, I'm stalling, so you can go get your shit. I know some people new to the True Royal family and True Royal. That's how I get down over here. So the new people, you don't know what I'm going to come up with over here. I might bust out and try to, do my little singing and all that. I got a little series called A Cave in the Coons, and I got one coming to y'all very soon, my royal family. And then all the atrocious shit that the royal family have to continue to deal with. So, I was watching all of the hypervia go down, in the streets of America. And let's not lose sight, my royal family, that I said again and again, we have won the war, but we will continue to see the enemy win battles. And we must, to the best of our ability, not react to the battles that they win like they have won the overall war. We have to continue on our spiritual path, because like I said, I've always brought this up. We've been won this, but there's different things that are playing out. And I've been talking to a number of people that's close to me about like coronavirus and the things that we are seeing that's going on in the universe, in Babylon, worldwide, coronavirus, Rona ain't to be messed with. And was talking real deep to KD, and we was talking about, because a lot of us are saying, wow, I have never seen nothing like this. Wow, wow. And people that know the word very well, the one thing that I'm always fascinated with is prophecies. And, we done heard for many years about the plagues would come and all these different things that would happen in Babylon. But what I identify with my royal family was that the reason why we keep saying, wow, I never seen nothing like this. We did not know how we were going to feel. That didn't cross our psyche. Even though we knew, we are actively in real time watching these prophecies play out, and these curses are coming down on many. No one's exempt, but especially Esau. And then also them fake imposters that I've been, I bring heat. So, because I have to pull it back and think. And that's what I was identifying with. It was like, damn, even though we knew, and it's like, you can read history books and you'll see empires falling and all of that, and, in the pages. But living it real time, it is what we are feeling. This is the first time ever in my life I have seen instant karma daily. Literally. Somebody be very defiant to Yahweh, and literally immediately or within a very short duration of time, they feeling some kind of way. And Corona is that equalizer. Like Lisa Cabrera said, we will not be coming back together. We will only be coming back together with each other. I and many have been saying, we know we're supposed to come back together naturally. But I said, there's going to be an event that is going to be so great that we're going to come back together. And Rona showed up. And Rona is touching every orifice on the planet. So, as we continue on my royal family, this video real long. I've been gone for a minute. Oh, I'm about to deliver real sweet like. I'm good at what I do. Oh yeah, I'm being arrogant. But I'm very sweet and humble, my royal family. So we got to deal with another king being literally stopped and shot in the streets of America. And everything is on freeze because Esau cannot figure out how to justify shooting a man in his back repeatedly. In the Wild Wild West days, they looked at you as a mere coward. So you look a man in his eye when you have a duel, but you wait till he turn and shoot him in the back. And they gonna go with the I fear for my life. He went for his waistband, and they harping on now that he admitted he had a knife in the car on the floor of the baseboard. But they going to harp on that. They trying to find something. And our people have been judgmental, like, well, why did he walk away? Well, I didn't know until yesterday the brother was tased. That made sense. He was in a state of shock. Look at what was going down. Whatever events, because it's still that up in the air, if he broke up a fight or if he was at a birthday party that he took his sons to, that whatever that was going down, his adrenaline is pumping, and it's a lot of, energy going on. And then next thing you know, you got cops everywhere. And then, when they deal with the black man, they're very swift. They don't assess the situation. A black man is just a threat. So he gets stung with the taser. Well, those cops have had training. They know what it feels like to be hit with a taser. And people react in different ways. Once you hit them with it, all you got to do is step back and they will fully submit to it. But I have seen some people that I think they be on some heavy drugs and they done loaded them up with them tasers before they fall. So that dude was in a state of shock. And the last thing that was on his mind before he got hit with that taser was his royal sons. So the body doing one thing, but his psyche is doing something else. And I got to go check my babies. Yeah. Ain't it a shame? And so, now today we hearing about, this dude is paralyzed from the waist down and they got him handcuffed to the bed. And I read an article and they came up with some lame excuse. Well, somebody might go in there and wheel him out. I mean, you would put him in more danger. You got security outside the hospital door. You got media crawling everywhere and stuff. You see how they like to continue. The ultimate goal is to damage you. And so they got them a buy one, get one free, because they have damaged Mr. Blake's royal sons and stuff. And so that's a shame that, our royals continue to have to deal with a great deal of negativity, and it's always coming usually from Esau. So I know about how Mr. Blake's mother and father, mainly the mother, been talking and praying and forgiving the cops that did what they did, and she gonna pray for their families and all of this type of things. And I said, oh Lord, here we come with this Christianity stuff where, like I said, I'm speaking individually for myself. Religion is a problem. Anytime man put their hand in something, even with the best of intent, is a problem. And we have been so greatly affected by this system that Esau has put together that some black folks, I thought one day, may think that displaying and showing anger is like committing a sin. So say you have a baby and you mess with the baby a little bit and irritate it or take the baby's food or something like that, and they display anger. Well, is it that baby computing in its psyche that, oh, I better not get mad, I'm committing a sin? See, there's a lot of stuff that we have to get undone from our psyche. So, they do what they do to our king and mama busting out, pops busting out. They running their mouth too damn much. You don't talk to the media. You ain't on code. And they literally at that stage of like forgiving, and the mother is saying her son wouldn't condone, people out here unquote looting and all this type of stuff. So this is how I'm approaching this, because you have to be very careful. What I have learned, especially from Mr. Superboy, because I've been on here 5 years, and when I used to listen to Mr. Superboy, he was saying you have to be very careful about these families when one of their family members gets shot, and we, angry, we out here showing support, and they subject to tell us they don't want our support, and everything. So you have to vet each individual family. And so where I'm at with this is, even though his mama then said A, B, C, and D, I ain't heard what came out of Mr. Blake's mouth. And then, so the way I'm doing this, I'm on the fence with him, and I pray that he can heal and recover to some extent, because we don't quite know what the damage going to be so far, but they saying he's paralyzed waist down. But I 1,000% support the royals. They are innocent in this, and people have graciously donated a great deal of money. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm not going to drag this man. I am highly irritated that his lawyers allowed him to talk to the pigs in the hospital bed, and we will get into that a little bit later. So the other day I was watching this news conference, and I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. And it just like, really? So this video, it's long. And I'll do it as little as possible, where I'm gonna let it flow. But if it's something I gotta stop and spit that fire, I'm gonna do that. But for the most part, I'm gonna let it roll. So what I want the royal family to do is to make damn sure, and this was done on the 26th, to listen to everyone closely of what they're saying and what they are not saying. And anybody that's new to the True Royal family or True Royal, the way this channel works is, you might hear me sometimes have a tendency to say I, but I'm all about the we. So I have no problem people putting up scriptures or anything that helps me. I have no problem with people disagreeing. I have one rule on this channel, and the rule on this channel, if the enemy come on this channel, you don't say a word to them. And it's a bunch of y'all in there with a wrench, get rid of their ass. And just to let y'all know, because some people afraid to eliminate people when they being disrespectful, when y'all get rid of someone, it goes somewhere else, another page, and then we have the final say to just eliminate them totally. No one's name is given up who got rid of that person. So that wrench is supposed to be used. The pimp hand is real. So let's get into this and listen to this dog and pony show.
Thank you for joining us today, everybody. I'm Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, and I'm here today to talk about two issues. First, I'm going to be providing an update on the status of an investigation into an officer-involved shooting incident that took place in Kenosha on Sunday evening. And then secondly, I'm also going to comment on some recent events that have taken place in Kenosha. So first, we're going to be providing some updated information about some of the basic facts that have been learned so far in the investigation. We are able to do that at this point because this is an ongoing investigation, and some of the interviews of material witnesses have now been conducted. So we now feel comfortable, consistent with the investigation, to release this information. We've sent out a press release that contains the details. But the basic facts that we can report at this time are these: that on the evening of Sunday, August 23rd, 2020, Kenosha Police Department officers were dispatched to a residence in the 2800 block of 40th Street after a female caller reported that her boyfriend was present and was not supposed to be on the premises. During the incident, officers attempted to arrest Jacob S. Blake, age 29. Law enforcement deployed a taser to attempt to stop Mr. Blake, but the taser was not successful in stopping him. Mr. Blake walked around his vehicle, opened the driver's side door, and leaned forward. While holding on to Mr. Blake's shirt, Officer Rustin Shesky fired his service weapon 7 times. Officer Shesky fired the weapon into Mr. Blake's back. No other officer fired their weapon. The Kenosha Police Department does not have body cameras, and therefore the officers were not wearing body cameras. The shooting officer, Kenosha Police Officer Rustin Shesky, has been a law enforcement officer with the Kenosha Police Department for 7 years. During the investigation following the initial incident, Mr. Blake admitted that he had a knife in his possession. And DCI agents, that's the Division of Criminal Investigation, recovered a knife from the driver's side floorboard of Mr. Blake's vehicle.
Okay. Now, ever since the knife then been found, they want to keep harping on that. And when I was seeing this dog and pony show, it was on CNN, and they kept flashing up the word knife. And the enemy is looking for a inkling of something to twist a way out of it. But again, shooting a man in his back or a human being, period, you're a coward. And what gets me is these demons jump up and say, I fear for my life. You're not even making any body contact or anything. I don't care what the hell happened when they was over there scuffling. He managed to pull himself away. It wasn't like once he got up, he gonna turn around and charge at them. And keep in your frontal lobe that he had shock, and I forget how many volts that stuff is, run through him. Me being a welder, I have been shocked numerous times. It ain't a good feeling. It ain't a good feeling. And if you get enough run through you, it's going to take you hours or sometimes days to feel like your true self. So let's keep that in mind, my royal family. That plays a big factor, and they know it. But this is the black media, and how we get down. We speak on core truth over here. Anything I speak is the truth. And even if I see one of us way out of pocket, I'm going to find some kind of way to spin it back in our favor. So don't come over here talking about, well, no, True Royal, it happened like this and that. No, it happened the way I want it to happen. That's how I get down over here, because that's how Esau get down. Because let's not lose sight. Like I say often, the enemy don't care that we are fair, balanced, and objective. They don't care. So since you want to play that game, I see it the way I want to see it. I twist it the way I want to twist it in everything. All right? Game, recognize, game.
A search of the vehicle located no additional weapons. Law enforcement immediately provided medical aid to Mr. Blake, and Flight for Life transported him to Froedtert Hospital in Milwaukee. Mr. Blake remains at the hospital. The Division of Criminal Investigation at the Wisconsin Department of Justice is leading this investigation, and it's being assisted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Wisconsin State Patrol, and the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office. All involved law enforcement officers are fully cooperating with DCI during the investigation, and the involved officers have been placed on administrative leave. As I said, this is an ongoing investigation, so that is the extent of the information regarding the facts of this case that we can share at this point. There have been interviews conducted of material witnesses, but the investigation remains ongoing. Under Wisconsin law, in cases in which a person dies in a case in which an officer fired their weapon, the law requires that an independent investigative agency be brought in to conduct the investigation. But in many other cases, the Wisconsin Department of Justice is brought in to conduct an independent investigation as well, and that is what is happening in this case. Our agency is the independent investigating agency. Our job is to gather the evidence as completely and thoroughly as possible and provide that evidence to the District Attorney's Office. I'm joined today by, among others, DA Mike Gravely. Their office then makes the determination about whether charges are filed. So that's the information I can provide right now about this case. I also want to comment on the...
Okay, so they got investigation after investigation and all of that. Now, I haven't heard the word transparency, but it may come up. They use that. But the only reason, because we all know why they have these independent investigations and stuff, because they investigating themselves and they going to slant it back in their favor. And then to insult to injury. Then they have something outside that unquote supposed to be neutral, but they are in bed together. You're insulting our intelligence because they're going to come up with the same conclusion. They're not going to override each other in their profession. They are going to stay on code. So we got to get on code immediately. Like I say, I see it the way I want to see it. I know my folks. I know what to say and not to say. Oh yeah, it became quite diabolical dealing with the enemy in this war as we continue on.
The events yesterday evening in Kenosha. What happened yesterday night in Kenosha was despicable. 2 people were shot and killed, and a third person was shot and seriously injured. One of the things that we have seen in the last few nights is that there are a number of people, certainly some and quite possibly many of the people who've been involved in destructive activity or violent activity who are not from the city of Kenosha, and in some cases...
So you bringing up that shit about what happened? That's something totally different. Was it despicable that one of your pigs that you trained shot that black man, our king, in the back 7 times and then ruined his life? Oh, I got a bonus for y'all, my royal family. Oh, I got a definite bonus. But it's going to come right out of my mouth. But that's despicable. Why you have the urge to speak on that so greatly? Why you not focusing on what need to be focused on? Because this shit that y'all jaw-jacking up here, you ain't talking about nothing. You ain't talking about no solutions. You just doing the same old shit that y'all been doing for the longest. Slow down and wait. Slow down and wait. You don't take all of that to do all these investigation after investigation, and then your motherfucking ass gonna talk about what's despicable. When that shit went down, the cops didn't even give a damn. They was all in on it. You don't give a damn about any of that. What is despicable, again, is to shoot a human being in the back, right in front of their children. And then you want to talk about a gun, a knife in his possession, but it ain't on his being. And he admitted it. So I'm mad at a bunch of people. You don't let nobody talk to your client. When you lawyer up, you keep your damn mouth shut as we continue on.
Not from the state of Wisconsin. This community has been through some extremely traumatic events in the last few days. The people of this community deserve to have the opportunity to grieve. They deserve to have the opportunity to come together, to protest peacefully, to call for the change that they would like to see, and ultimately to work to heal this community. People who are coming to the community to commit arson or violence, first of all, if they think they are serving some agenda, they are wrong. All they are doing is creating chaos. The people who have been impacted, in particular the people of Kenosha, are the ones who should be leading the way as people protest peacefully. It is vital that we work to unify people. There has been a lot of division recently. It's easy for politicians to stoke division. But what we need to do is to come together as we work to strengthen our criminal justice system, as we work to call for justice in the system, and as we work to heal our communities. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to District Attorney Gravely.
Thank you, everybody. So these are as difficult times as I've seen in Kenosha in the more than 30 years I've resided in this community. And it is a moment, certainly in our history, that brings up some of the greatest issues of our time, right, of this moment of history. I have been so proud, as so many have, of the moment of history we're in so many ways, that there's been voices that have not always been enfranchised, who have had a chance to speak with new clarity and passion over the last several months, and that has been, I think, inspirational. to many people, and including those who are asking and demanding reform in the criminal justice system. And it is a moment here in Kenosha today where all grieve for Jacob Blake and hope for his recovery. We grieve for his family. You didn't have to do more than see his mother and father express parents' rage and grief at the moment that they are in, an emotional moment, and thinking about the way that we think about our children, and that we want them safe, and we think all the best of them in terms of the kind of things that were said at the press conferences by the family. We have a community today that is literally on fire, set on fire by the deep divisions that have been fueled by a number of forces that are brought to bear in this case, right? Systemic racism, with its insidious history in Kenosha and throughout the country, is certainly a part of all the big issues that are being considered. Modern policing and the tremendous difficulties and challenges ahead to think about how to police in an ever-changing society and community with different expectations and concerns about how society's forces have affected our ability to police and our ability to police in a new and modern way. And then a world of social media that has clearly emphasized immediate action over any ability to be calm or deliberate when making the most important decisions in life, and has emphasized quick decision-making, immediacy, and emotional impact, instead of thinking about making accurate decisions and prioritizing that above all else. And so those forces are at work, and anybody who doesn't agree that those forces are at work, of course, is not really seeing this moment as we are here today in front of all of you. All of that said, I want to say that I endorse and applaud all of the methods of peaceful protest, both about this case and about those bigger issues that we've discussed. You know, I think it is gratifying to see folks like the Milwaukee Bucks, for instance, say that what they know about this case and the bigger issues it reflects are things that they felt so strongly about that they decided to make a dramatic statement in terms of boycotting play. Those kind of things are important, and they add to the debate. And the only thing I ask is that we understand that the destruction of property and that the violence that has too often occurred in this community over the last couple days does a disservice to this moment in history, and does a dramatic disservice to an ability for there to be a profound and complicated and absolutely necessary conversation. Okay, now I've said all that, and I've tried to talk in broad strokes.
You ain't saying shit. You the DA, and you talking all that other shit that don't have nothing to do with your job. You supposed to be talking about what the hell you gonna do with them pigs that shot our king in the back in front of his babies. Because that's an extra charge. You know, you endangered children. Them children could have got shot. But it's back to what my husband said, my royal family. I say it often. When it comes to the enemy in the law, they exercise the spirit of the law. But when it comes to us, it is the letter of the law. They're not gonna lose sight of anything. They're gonna make sure they go strictly by the letter. But you want us to heal and all this kind of stuff. You got to think about it. It's only one community that they have these issues with. All the other communities, they all right. Because you have waged a war in our communities. You know? And we are greatly damaged. So I don't know what the fuck this DA is talking about. All that old gobbledygook and all that, you wasting your time. This is definitely word salad. And also, they're going to be using a bunch of alphabet soup. Just be listening. This agency, that agency, the NAA and all this, the YMCA, the LBGQ, XYZ, and fuck you too. All of them, all of that. Yeah, I'm irritated.
But I need to let you know specifically what the role of a prosecutor is in this particular moment in reviewing this case. So the statute in Wisconsin demands, quite appropriately, that an independent investigative agency do all of the investigative work in this case. And so the individuals who are involved directly, who fired the shot, the particular police officer is a Kenosha Police Department officer. So the department that is investigating, as you know, is through the Department of Justice here in Wisconsin. So that is an agency that has no direct connection to the Kenosha Police Department, and they are conducting that investigation in full. When they complete that investigation, it's turned over, again, by statute, by law, to the local district attorney's office. And that will be our office. And we have, by law, a very narrow task in the enormity of the big issues I talked about. We are asked to review that independently garnered evidence, and we are asked, are there any crimes that a police officer has committed that can be proven to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt? So I need to let you know now, and the community know, that is the only question that the Kenosha District Attorney's Office will answer. All of the bigger issues that are so important will not be issues that will be absolute, that will not be definitively decided by Kenosha's District Attorney's Office. We will only decide whether any Kenosha police officer is going to be charged with a crime, and that can only occur if we believe that that crime can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So I hope that the public, and expect and want the public to get the best possible decision in that regard. And I believe the public deserves a decision that is based on reason and that is based on the most full and most accurate information that can be obtained. And so I hope all those who witnessed the events that we have seen on video, all those persons present and who have information, I hope they fully cooperate in this investigation, because that's the path to the truth. That's the path to real decision-making being able to occur in this case. And I ask for as much patience as our times allow, because again, if we value accuracy and we value real decision-making over a quick decision made in the most emotional moment, then we have to facilitate a full and complete investigation. And I know that the Department of Criminal Investigations, DCI, is doing all they can to accomplish that. And I want to be sure that the public has the maximum ability to be confident of this decision, and I've called on the U.S. Attorney's Office to conduct a parallel investigation. I've asked them to do the civil rights investigation that by law they are allowed to do and can do. I'm hoping it will happen at the same time. That gives the community a chance to heal quicker, because independent prosecuting agencies, the U.S. Attorney's Office and the DA's office, can both make independent decisions about whether crimes can be charged either in federal court or in state court. That means we don't have multiple decision points where there are new opportunities for people to be disappointed or enraged, or for there to be unrest that is about decisions that are being made. So I'm hoping our community can heal, and I'm calling on the U.S. Attorney's Office to do that. I want to thank the U.S. Attorney, Matt Krieger, and his office for being a partner in this case, in the sense of providing assistance at each time in terms of federal authorities being there for the Kenosha District Attorney's Office specifically, and certainly Attorney General Josh Kaul and the DCI agency have been complete in their use of resources and their ability to assist our local community. So I thank you all for being here. These are difficult times, and these are difficult and momentous decisions. We're going to do the best job we possibly can, and we ask for your patience for the best investigation to also take place. Thank you.
So basically, now check this out. Basically, he can override all of that. And in some cases, I think even the mayor can too, and fire the damn cop or arrest them. They plan because they trying to, the spin doctors behind the scene, they got to come up with something where they got to fit that knife in where the cops felt like they were in grave danger and all of that when he got shot in the back. So all that healing and all that stuff he talking, that was useless. It's the reason why I be playing these videos, my royal family. Oh, this shit gonna get worse. I'm just letting you know. You're gonna be thoroughly pissed.
We are joined today by some community leaders, and two of them are going to be speaking to you. So first, Anthony Davis.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Davis, local president of the NAACP here in Kenosha, and also a member of the Wisconsin State Conference, where we're being led by Wendell J. Harris. First of all, I'd like to give my thoughts and prayers to the family of Jacob Blake. They're going through a difficult time. And as it is said, you have to give a family time to deal with these situations. We know a lot of folks are trying to get to them each and every day. But in these times, give them some time to heal. We know that this incident came to Kenosha unexpectedly. And I just want to say, Kenosha is not a place where we see things like this every day. We need to come together. And I appreciate the state DA, Josh Call, and our local DA here in Kenosha coming to us and trying to share what they can at this time. The process, we know, is not going to be one that's going to be quick, but we know that we are part of the process here. And we ask, number one, have some patience. We also want everyone to understand we have to find a way to de-escalate what has been happening around here in our city. As I said, we are in the process of trying to mourn through this. But the path that has been taken by some individuals has not been appreciated. Let us have our say as a community. Let us be patient. And above all, let us keep God in the process. Thank you.
Master, did I do okay? She be coming around the mountain when she come. She be coming around the mountain when she come. She be coming around the mountain. She be coming around the mountain. That damn coon. Where the hell they get him? With that loud ass shirt. Are you serious? Oh, my royal family, it's gonna get even more juicy. Lean all up in it. Ooh, my throat. Lord. Trying to sing.
All right, next up we have James Hall.
Now, I'm just going to let y'all know straight up. Straight up. Homeboy doing this for a biscuit. You know, LVZ, you know that platter LVZ pull out with the chicken and all that. So yeah, half a platter of biscuits, half a platter of chicken. All right? So go ahead. Do your thing.
Everyone, I'm James Hall, the president and CEO of the Urban League Racing Kenosha. This is very difficult for this community. First of all, I would like to say the Urban League Racing Kenosha send our condolences to the two young men that lost their lives last night, and our thoughts and prayers are with Jacob Blake. We ask that the protesters that are protesting please respect and obey the curfew that's being enforced so no one else get hurt. Please respect the curfew that exists. Protest peacefully, but when it's time for the curfew to be in effect, please respect that curfew. We can't lose this moment. Right now, Kenosha is emotional. Right now, the country is emotional. We cannot continue to meet force with force. Let the people be heard. Listen to the people. We don't need all this aggression from either side. Period. We must understand that black and brown folks are emotional people. Always have been. That's why we respect the sports that they play, because they get the job done with internal emotions. But at the same time, we must understand that this eruption in our city is based on years and years and years of oppression. Years of oppression. What you see is a lot of pain, a lot of fear, and a lot of trauma. Both sides are scared of both sides because no one communicates to each other. We go to our subdivisions, we go to work, and we go to our subdivision, and we don't even engage anymore with each other. That has to change. The time is now for change. We need to improve our systems and our environments across the board. Let me repeat that. We need to improve all our systems across the board. Whether it's the school district, whether it's the police structure, I'm not going to even call it a system, I'm calling it a structure. What is happening now? No one has an idea how to react because it's fear on both sides. Having armed people in our city, that's all right. We understand that. But those people with guns that are militia, that are engaging people, are not looking at them as people. They're looking at these individuals as I need to protect my property. Think about this. The property can be rebuilt. The lives cannot be rebuilt. Once a life is taken or destroyed, it cannot be given back. There's a possibility that this young man would never walk again. Think about that. Imagine your son, your daughter, your relative experiencing trauma every day, pain every day, fear every single day. Mm-hmm. And this skin that I wear, and I carry myself well, I go through it every day, every single time. Every single time. a car pull up behind me that's a law enforcement agency. So I would like to bring this front and center. If you lived your life in trauma every day, how would you react? How would you feel? What would you do? The time is now for change. Let the community heal. Let them be emotional. Let them express themselves. But at the same time, when the expression is over, let's not end the work. Mm-hmm. Let's work with the communities. Let's work with the people in the community to start changing. Change is now. If Kenosha can make this change, the entire country will follow. Thank you.
That is not... Wait a minute. Now, some of the things, I agree with what he said. But all this coming together and all of that, see, he's standing there with the enemy. They want to continue to uphold white supremacy. And they depending on these two coons up here to keep they folks tame. Ain't nothing new. Back in the day, what they would do when we would get upset and stuff, they would go get the pastor. Now they get these NAACP and all these different, again, alphabet soup and all of this stuff. And they are coming into our communities and inflicting pain on us and disrespecting a black man, you know, because a black man knows how to police his community and take care of his community. No, they want to have they want to dictate all our movements and everything. But, I got plenty to say after the fact. So let's hear what else this demon got to say.
Thank you to Mr. Hall. Thank you to Mr. Davis. Thank you to DA Gravely. And thank you to the others who have joined us here today. With that, I want to open it up for questions.
Attorney General, can you give us an update, one, on how far you are in the investigation, and secondly, just on the process itself, when you want to have an independent investigation, if you refer the potential charges back over to the district attorney for Kenosha County, does that not defeat the purpose? Sort of talk to me a little bit about that process when they would work with police officers on an almost daily basis.
Yeah, so first of all, the investigation is moving quickly. We have conducted interviews of some of the material witnesses in this case, and that's part of the reason we are able to provide the information that we provided today. But the investigation is still ongoing. What is critical from our perspective is that while we want to move as quickly as we can, that we do so consistently with a full and thorough investigation so that what comes at the end of this process is based on a full and thorough investigation. Now, Wisconsin, let me just finish the second part. Wisconsin law is set up so that there's an independent investigating agency so that agencies don't investigate themselves. But under Wisconsin law, primary prosecutorial authority is with the district attorney. As DA Gravely mentioned, he has called for an outside prosecutorial review from the federal level as well. So we'll see what happens in that process. I can't speak to the details about precisely who was interviewed. What I can say is that many of the material witness interviews have taken place, and that's why we can provide the information we are today.
You mentioned that a knife was recovered and Mr. Blackman admitted to having it. Was that knife ever observed by officers in that tussle? Was he ever giving commands to drop the knife?
I can't provide any further information about those details. The information that we provided is based on information that we believe could be provided at this point because it's clear evidence and because of the interviews that have taken place. We aren't concerned that it may impact subsequent interviews. I believe that the legislature, first of all, I believe that agencies that are conducting activities like tactical activities and patrol activities should have body cameras. The challenge that a lot of agencies face, as you mentioned, is the cost. And so I think our legislature needs to step up and make sure that agencies have the funds they need to obtain body cameras for their officers. Mr. Gravely, if he wanted to, could allow a special prosecutor to come in. That's a decision that his office could make. That happens sometimes when there are conflicts with district attorneys' offices. But generally speaking, in Wisconsin, the primary prosecutorial authority is with the DA.
You hear what he said? Who has the ultimate authority? The DA. See, they plan. Because like I said, they trying to find a way out. This coward shot him in the back. So all these other investigations and different organizations and all that kind of stuff. And see, that's our taxpayer dollars too. Keep that in mind. It's amazing what these people do with other people's money. See, the enemy in this war is telling us something deep. See, in the art of war, it's all psychological. And in order to, in a situation like this, to outthink the enemy, is you will show your opponent that I have no problem sacrificing some of my own in this war. So you expose yourself when you spare no expense and go far beyond to save one. So that's a sign of weakness. I mean, see, Esau want to fight this war where there's no casualties or no punishment on their end. And they initiate the shit. And they don't want you to be true to your nature. And now it calls for being patient and understanding in investigations, and you keep coming up with the same repetitive shit. They're always playing us, insulting our intelligence. So see, the equalizer is here. Prophecies is playing out, and our Father is not to be played with.
I was just describing the information that we had, and so we can't comment on any further information.
So you're not able to say if you would, based on the release that you've put out so far, you're not able to definitively say that the quote-unquote boyfriend was Jacob Blake in the initial call.
What I'm saying is we are not going to be providing further information beyond what's been provided so far about the details. Again, the information we've provided so far are straightforward facts that are, we believe, going to be undisputed, and so we're limiting the scope of what we're providing to that information. Well, first, I think that having an independent investigative agency is a good policy, and I think, I'm biased because I'm at DOJ, but I like to think that DCI is the preeminent law enforcement agency in the state of Wisconsin. I'm sure there are other agencies that would dispute that, but having top-notch investigators who handle a lot of these cases and are expert in investigating them, I think is a good process.
Mr. Attorney General, you say in your release that Blake admitted that he had a gun after the initial incident. Was that the incident you're talking about with the taser? He told police officers he had a knife in his vehicle?
As the release stated, he acknowledged that he had a knife in his possession at some point.
You made it very clear that time is a big decision that you have to make. How cognizant are you, though, that time that you are taking and what's happening right now
We want to move as quickly as possible, but we're going to do that consistent with maintaining the integrity of this investigation. What's critical is that justice is done in this case, and the best way to go about getting justice is to have a full and thorough and vigorous investigation. We're providing the information that we can, but this is also a case that is part of a legal process, and there may be facts as this case proceeds that are in dispute or where it's not clear, and we're not going to be providing answers to questions that may later be the subject of dispute.
And the officer that used the taser, are you able to say anything about that officer? Is that officer also, part of the wider investigation?
We will be identifying the other officers who are involved soon. We're going to continue providing information to the extent that we believe it's appropriate and consistent with protecting the integrity of the investigation. So the information regarding the other officers who were present will be provided, their identities. I don't want to comment on the specifics regarding that officer. What I certainly think it is important to emphasize is that there is an investigative process underway being conducted by an independent agency that is taking this investigation very seriously and that is committed to doing it thoroughly and fully. And I ask that people allow that process to play out so that there is justice in this case. I can't comment on any facts beyond the scope of what we've talked about. To the extent that there's information in the public record, others can look to that. We provided some of the core information that, as I said, is essentially undisputed information. Our investigators look into facts that the investigators on the ground determine are relevant to their investigation in assessing what the totality of the relevant circumstances are, and that they believe will be helpful to the DA in making the charging decision in the case. And so I won't comment on the specifics of particular details, but that's the approach that they take. DA Gravely, do you want to? The question was if you had any comment about the suspect from the shooting last night, or.
I can simply tell you that there will be some consideration of that case by the DA's office tomorrow. So the individuals in custody in Illinois and the Kenosha District Attorney's office will have to make some determinations about, at least preliminary decisions about charges or holding him by the end of the day tomorrow.
And DA Gravely, actually, one more question for you. It's tied.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
One more question for you, tied to what I was asking the Attorney General before. Are you able to just give some background on what a typical relationship is between a district attorney's office and a police department, and why you feel that your office can make the right decision and whether to prosecute based on your previous relationship with the police department?
Well, of course, we make decisions that are difficult decisions every day about sets of facts that tie us. So I can tell you that our office has no sort of personal relationship with this officer. He's part of a police force that is several dozen people, and so there is no specific relationship with him that would be a close relationship. He's a patrol officer. He's not a detective who works intimately with us. He's not management where he would be at meetings with us in that way. So he's not a person who is, has a specific relationship with us more than any other officer would. And really the legislature has indicated that this is the appropriate way to proceed. I think, my guess is that the purpose there is that the local district attorney is the individual who should be the one who has to carry the weight of these kind of difficult decisions. But I'm aware that the public will have some of the concerns that you've expressed, and that's why I've asked the U.S. Attorney's Office, because they have absolutely no connection to this law enforcement officer. They're never going to have these officers for other cases. I'm having them do an independent determination that will be public. It will have no connection to my own, so there will be essentially a second opinion that'll be offered on slightly different laws, but still important opinion by a different prosecuting agency, so that if there are people with that specific concern, we'll have dealt with that directly. We prepared a warrant for him, so I don't know the date of that warrant. So I'm not going to try to add to the facts that have been provided by DCI. I'm trying to respect the investigating agency and let them be the ones who make decisions about what facts are available to you in that regard.
But check the play. You go into all these lengths to keep a patrol cop protected. Y'all so full of shit. I mean, they putting a whole lot on it, you know, and it's going to get more and more expensive because how you explain pumping 7 bullets in a human being's back? Let's stay focused on that shit, Esau.
I had a conversation with them briefly. I was on the way here, and the reception was spotty, frankly, so we weren't able to have a lengthy conversation, but I had begun telling them just a little bit about how Wisconsin's process works. I want to say I commend the Bucks and now all NBA teams that suspended their games today for stepping up and participating in the dialogue about these issues and making their voices known. The Bucks have frankly done more to address these issues than Robin Voss or Scott Fitzgerald have done, and so I applaud them for stepping up and playing a leadership role in the debate.
Can you elaborate more on what police were going to arrest Mr. Blake for?
I can't provide any further information at this time.
Will he end up being charged with anything?
I can't comment on any other cases or charges either.
Right now, we're all looking at Wakefield and a lot of people in up the issue. What has he been looking at as your office?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that we can do to improve. I mean, first of all, I think it's really critical that we talk about systemic racism and the impact that has had on all sorts of different facets of society. We see it in our criminal justice system here, as a lot of states do. Wisconsin has the highest rate of incarceration for black males of any state in the country. And to me, that is a clear evidence that we need to rethink the approach that we're taking with our criminal justice system as a whole. I spent part of my career as a voting rights lawyer, challenging laws that made it more difficult for people to vote and disproportionately for minority voters to cast a ballot. We have a lot of things about our system we can reform. At the Department of Justice, I am proud of a lot of the work that we do that I think is a force for good when it comes to addressing systemic racism. That includes having thorough and full investigations in cases involving officer-involved shootings. We have a missing and murdered Indigenous women task force that we are working with Indigenous communities to lead. There are a number of other ways as well where I'm proud of the work that we do, but I've also asked employees at DOJ to think about what we can do better so that we are working to fight systemic racism. And at the state level, there are a number of policy changes that we can make. I've called for several, including reforming our bail system, giving civil rights enforcement authority to our Department of Justice, having a hate crime hotline, passing legislation which is supported by law enforcement that would prohibit agencies from sealing disciplinary records when officers are separated from their agencies. There are a lot of steps we can be taking, and so I'm glad that the governor called a special session. I hope that it is taken seriously by the legislature and that they actually debate these issues, that they hear from the citizens of Wisconsin rather than closing down debate so that we can make real progress. So one of the things that I think it's critical that we do is that we assess the types of cases that are being brought. For example, enforcing cases, one of the things I think is important in enforcement is to target large-scale criminal activity rather than lots of cases of low-level criminal activity. I think that's better for public safety because you get at the root of the problem and can dismantle a drug trafficking organization or identify somebody who's committed a violent crime rather than having a number of low-level arrests. When it comes to enforcing laws that impact people, there are a lot of cases involving, for example, petty theft in Wisconsin, but there aren't nearly so many cases enforcing laws involving wage theft or unsafe working conditions. Enforcing those laws so that we have a level playing field and we don't have disparities in the types of crimes being enforced is one of the ways we can improve.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's the end of that BS. Like I said, I had to play that for the royal family because I was literally outdone. So, who's left to speak? True Royal. Yeah. So, I put myself there at the podium, and what title I want to give myself? I'm going to give a woman's perspective and say what's really going on. Now, okay, it's obvious Mr. Blake is a fertile man. He got sons, stair step. So whoever his woman is, and he's in that condition, you done messed up my sex life. You know, who gonna take care of me at night? You done shot my man up, you know? And y'all talking all that shit, you know? Oh yeah, True Raw, we'll go there with you. So how y'all gonna handle that? You know, you gonna put some money on it? I mean, they have literally ruined my king's life. So all that shit you talking about ain't dealing with my immediate situation. I'm ruined, my man ruined, and our royal sons. Fuck all of y'all. It's always the same repetitive shit. And since I'm up here speaking to the world, where's our reparations money? Ain't this an election season? When you gonna start breaking off the royal family? What about all that money to go over there to Israel? 19 million a day, 7 days a week, $7,000 per minute. Oh, I can spit fire all day. Esau, all you up there trying to do is protect this motherfucker that shot my man in the back. Who gonna hold me at night? Who gonna console me? This subject to break us up. Because he gonna feel some kind of way. He gonna feel like he a half a man. He got to deal with all this psychological shit. I got to deal with it. Our sons got to deal with it for a lifetime. See, that's how you got to talk to the enemy, my royal family. Them coons up there, you know, saying them little soft words because they don't want to mess with their ego, and they done ruin this black man. He in his prime, and all these different issues that's going to come up. Oh, yeah, it'll get to you. Think about it. You're young, you're fertile, you're getting it in often, and then that just stop. Like, what the fuck? And I'm not just emphasizing that, but you know what I'm saying, my royal family. This will dramatically impact that individual family because they have blind rage when it comes to us, but they have great restraint when it comes to their own. And we have seen their own do all kind of atrocious shit. And when they get done with them, do you want to go to Burger King or McDonald's? Or we can slide you over and go get you a chicken sandwich. You know? Which one you want to go to? You okay? They got me real fucked up. Oh yeah, I'm on fire. I'm back. Yeah, my voice is all jacked up and all that. And I know y'all gonna tell me this and that. But I feel some kind of way when they do these things. So we'll see how all of this hyperbole play out. And ain't nothing gonna change. And as far as Esau's behavior, they're being true to their nature. And we need to be true to our nature and take heed to what is going on in this space and time. Look at everything with your spiritual eyes, my royal family, and listen with your spiritual ears. This is deep because this is all about us regaining our throne. But they gonna try to pump so much fear into us and do all kind of stuff to us where we'll start casting doubt. They cannot change what's going down. We're going to continue to rise. All right? So don't forget about them battles that we will continue to see them win. But that's coming down to a flicker too. They dying in droves. Remember, all these things they doing when they being defiant, you know, and going to their little events. That's the last of the last of the last. Because all you got to do is wait 7-10 days and folks are sick, dropping like flies in this war. We ain't even had to use none of our arsenal. All we got to do is continue to stay separated, continue to get a house in order, and deal with each other's individual shit. Because we already know what Esau is all about. Very inadequate. Can't run shit. Full of shit. So I'll leave it there because I'm going on my tirades and all of this, and I know it's a very lengthy video, but you know, I've been gone for a minute, so I had to bring it like I always do. I'm going to always remain humble. I'm going to always remain a master's student and all of that. So you remember, so this is what I need the royal family to do. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And it's always my royal family. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.